So good morning, everybody. Ayelet Gingold with Agam Real Estate, and we are consulting clients with regards to buying, selling, and managing their investment properties in the Bay Area. And today I want to talk about the experience of working with buyers. And the main thing that we have when buyers are reaching out to us is kind of realizing whether this is a good time for them to buy. And so today I want to talk about timing is everything, and it is everything in real estate especially. So we're going to talk about what is the best time to buy. Again, it's very subjective, so it's from my point of view, but I think that being in the business for 22 years actually gives it more validation. So what is the best time to buy? Talk about the market in 2025 and buyer's market versus seller's market, which is a great indication to decide whether it's a good time to buy. Key market metrics, smart buyer tips, and best time to buy in the Bay Area, and then Q&A, which is, in my opinion, the most important thing. So what is the best time to buy? We are talking, real estate market is very cyclical, and it's very seasonal. So we're talking about some seasons that are better than others. Normally, if you want to get more kind of bargains, you want to buy where other buyers don't buy. So less competition. And usually fewer buyers are active more in the holiday season because the rest of them are more busy with planning their holiday, entertaining, having guests, and so forth. The other thing is looking at the sellers. When are the sellers more motivated? So the more motivated sellers out there are usually when the other sellers are too busy. Again, we're talking about holidays mainly. And then better pricing. On average, home prices in Q4 and Q1 are usually lower than in the middle of the year. And so we see and every year behaves a little differently, but in general, we see the market going higher in prices around March. And kind of at the end of the year, we see some, the market kind of stabilizing towards the end of the year in kind of May, June. So this is just an explanation about some examples about how the market behaved month over month in 2024. I took as an example the main areas that I cover, which are Santa Clara County and San Mateo County. So you can see that in every year, the graph is similar, but it's a little bit the way it's kind of how much increase, how much decrease, those numbers change. But we see that it peaks usually in March, sometimes February, and then the market goes slower towards the end of the year, and then it starts going up in January, the end of January, February. And also another tip from me while we talk, that if you see a year that was really, really active in January, then that's a good indication that it's going to be a very, very good year for sellers, which means kind of difficult year for buyers. What? Here? Okay. Yeah, I have my director there. So buyer's market versus seller's market. So what is buyer's market? Buyer's market is actually when the buyers are the king, which means that there are less buyers versus sellers. Sellers are competing over buyers and the prices go down. And seller's market is the normal situation in the Bay Area where we see multiple offers, and that's mainly because there are more buyers and the inventory is less. So every house gets more than one offer, and that, of course, pushes the prices higher. So this is kind of a metrics that I really recommend that you took a picture of this because it's a great summary of what I'm presenting today, which means that The way to find out whether it's a buyer's market and it's a great time for you to buy, or it's a seller's market where it's a great time for you to sell, is to look at the time of the time that the properties stay on the market in average. And again, those numbers are nationwide. So in the Bay Area, it's a little different. Normally in a warm market, the houses don't hold more than a week on the market, and in a cold market, it takes in average about a month. But here, when we talk about indication in general, so over 6 months of an inventory staying on the market, that's a strong indication of a buyer's market. And if it's under 3 months in general, throughout the United States, then it's a seller's market. We also take a look at days on the market and see the where it goes, where the trend goes. If days on the market is growing, then definitely it's going to the favor of the buyer. And if the days on the market is declining, it's becoming a seller's market. Sell price, the gap between sales price and list price. Again, another indication of the type of markets we're at. In the Bay Area, most of the time, the property will sell over asking. But when the gap is larger, it's a great indication of a seller's market. When the gap is smaller, it's an indication of a buyer's market. Price reductions, you see the terminology price reduced or price improved, which is basically the same. When a seller has been on the market for a longer time, they usually will do price reductions, and we see that a lot in buyer's markets. And then interest rates impact. So it's not true across the board that interest rate, when they go up, that means that the market will slow down. In a very hot market, even when interest rates were high, buyers will still buy. So when there is a correlation between the interest rate and the movement of properties, it actually rising rates that will reduce the buyer's competition. It's usually an indication of a buyer's market. And when it doesn't really matter, then it's a seller's market. Tips for me in general. So I always think that in this market, it's at least in the Bay Area, there's so many different moving parts that it's really good to have your own advisor that you trust. But in general, look at the market, look at the indication, look at where the days on the market goes, if it's going up or down, the season, how long properties stay on the market. Those are great indication to look for. And you see, most of the information is out there in Zillow, Redfin, Google, so you can definitely start picking up kind of how things go. So in summary, best time to buy. When there is less competition, it's usually between November to the end of January. And then more inventory is usually happening in between March and June. The best deals you always see in around December, where the holiday hits, and then best deals for buyers, of course. Seller flexibility is in the holiday time, and for market singles, watch for rising days on the market, price reductions, and growing inventory. And that's it. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer, or we can do a one-to-one. Thank you so much.